Hello and welcome to this week's Uplifting Conversations. This week I have the beautiful astrologer Bridget Avgoustakis, who is going to give us the heads up on the energy for this month ahead. So we are talking about June 2023. And I will be bringing some oil suggestions in to help you navigate your way through the highs and lows. And I'm assuming there will be highs and lows because there's always highs and lows, isn't there? So having essential oils on hand and looking after our health and wellness is one of the most important things we can do in body, mind and spirit. My name is Kay Hamilton and I'm known as the Courage Activator because I want to see you step into your courage so that you can live your life with your highest potential, so that you can make the most of every moment. And we have Jane Gray. Good morning, lovelies. I'm from Bee's page. Good morning, Jane. And thanks for joining us and commenting. So if you are watching, please comment, please say hello, and let us know if you've got questions. We like an interactive show. We don't want to just be spruiking to you. So if you've got questions, suggestions, please interact. So welcome, Bridget. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Kay. I'm great. So nice to be with you again. I love these monthly catch-ups. It's so much fun. And I just drew a card as we were starting, and you can see it's Three of Cups. And this is this feeling of connection and the tribe, our tribe, So it's beautiful that we get to hang out together and, we're both talking to our people and connecting our tribes together, and it's just lovely. So
wonderful. Yeah. So if you're listening to us, welcome. And yes, let's know where you are joining us from. So, Bridget, what have we got in store for June? There seems to be a lot going on out there in the world.
Yes, we've got a few things happening. Well, first of all, I just in our pre-chat, the fact that the sun is in Gemini, and Gemini rules the lungs, the shoulders, the hands, the fingers. So you were just saying about your daughter having pneumonia. I've heard of lots of people with chesty congestion. I mean, I know that it's winter and this is the time that we get that stuff, but it's just it's an interesting connection between the lungs and the fact that, the sun is shining its light in the area.
And would that mean people are more vulnerable during these times? So, yes, it's winter, but we're more vulnerable because of what's happening out there in the universe?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And an interesting thing, if you know the horoscope, is that when the sun is in opposition, your health can be affected. So for those Sagittarians out there, you might be having some sort of health issue. The other mutable signs, Virgo and Pisces, also might be having, a little bit more of a health concern with the squares there. So that's just another thing to consider. And, we were just talking about the fact that it's time to get your eucalyptus out. You've got that wonderful oil there. I was saying about, vitamin C, these natural remedies that we can go to first when we're feeling less than. So,
and well, I would take another step to make sure that you're using them before you get sick, because even if you do succumb to things, well, your body's already got, some beautiful protection going on. And I would not be living without thieves. And actually, I'm sucking on a thieves lozenge at the moment because I've got a bit of a tickle in my throat as well. But this is a great oil to put on your feet, to put in your diffuser. Very protective oil, and it has very powerful oils, including cinnamon, eucalyptus, clove, rosemary, and lemon. So this is a must-have in your little stash of oils, excuse me, all year round.
Sounds amazing. Sounds like all of the things in one. So yeah. Okay, you know what? I'll get into the astrology, and then we can break it all down and intersperse with the oils. All right. So now today we're having a little bit of a prickly day. We're starting our chat on the 7th. So we have the moon conjunct Pluto today. So, you know, we're feeling some deep stuff coming up from the depths, you know, but it is a chance for us to assess and you know, have a look at it with a mature point of view. Is it something that we have put a false mask on? You know, we've got the sun sextile Chiron allowing healing. And yeah, like I said, you know, if you are feeling some feels today, you know, Pluto brings up crisis. However, it's definitely a chance for you to go with the flow and be brave and, you know, work these things out. Because on Sunday, we've got two massive planetary movements, or not, you know, Mercury is moving sign. So that's been, Mercury went retrograde in Taurus. So now he is going to move into Gemini. So our thoughts will be so much faster and activated. And then, so that's at 6:26, Mercury moves into Gemini. So yay, our brains will function better. But and then at 7:35, Pluto moves into Capricorn. So, you know, those two things, and they are both trine, which is a helpful aspect. There are so many changes coming on Sunday. It allows us to think quicker and look back at our fundamental structural foundations and see where things need to be amended. All right. We also have the moon conjunct Neptune. So this is Sunday coming. So it's a very deep day on Sunday where we're going to be mentally active and we're going to have stuff in our face to be reviewed. So that's our first big one on Sunday. So
okay. So we've got a few low days. So to help your mental, to support those times, you want clarity. Well, clarity. You love clarity oil, and peppermint oil. Yeah, you love your clarity. I love it. But peppermint oil is also the oil that's going to help that sharpness of the mind. And it's I actually like using our peppermint oil in some herb tea. And I put a drop in with some honey and some nice warm water on top, and you have a lovely warming, sensational drink. And you can actually smell the peppermint come off the top of the cup. It's just beautiful.
That sounds amazing. One of the things I keep saying to my group is that, you know, winter we are so prone to getting dehydrated because we are cold and we don't want to drink water. So drinking hot water. The lovely Karen called silver tea, and I love that. Yeah. So, you know, that's the fact that you're saying that you can add oils into hot water to both get the benefits and the vapor is you know, something that I didn't know about before you were telling me that. So
well, there you go. So, I mean, I think a lot of people, you know, they're wary of essential oils and think, how can you put them in your food and your drinks? But if you've ever had a mint lolly, or if you've ever had a lemon lolly, you've probably got an essential oil in there. However, there's a very good chance they won't be a pure oil. They'll be often synthetically derived in a laboratory. So I would always go for something pure, and our oils with Young Living are organic, so they're absolutely marvellous.
Amazing, amazing. All right, I will move on to the 14th. Actually, I just saw another comment come in, but yeah, I'll move on to the 14th. So for the people out there that are like us, we are business owners, we are entrepreneurs, we are creating our own futures. Wednesday, the 14th of June. All right, we have the moon moving into Taurus. All right, so Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is in Leo, and Venus in Leo is the story that I am going to be talking about for the next 4.5 months. So Venus in Leo is what makes us shine. If we look at the moon moving into Taurus, it is a great day for us to have conversations around money and security and how we can make our own futures that much better by empowering ourselves. Taurus is also our self-worth and values. So the whole day, we are going to have the moon coming up to conjunct the north node, which is that, it's the thing that we want to consume to help us move forward. And with everything, and then it's going to be conjuncting Jupiter, which is our massive planet of understanding and all the benefits in the universe, and how we can do things better and be jovial and happy about it. So it's a great day. So
Jupiter's that expansion, isn't it? Too expansion,
yeah,
which yes,
expansion of knowledge of and also of our waistlines. While Jupiter's in Taurus, we must be careful of eating too much comfort food, because Taurus is all about the senses and comfort. And, when we lack self-worth, we can tend to comfort eat. So, great. As a rule, while Jupiter is in Taurus, we need to be working on our values rather than trying to stuff them down with food. Maybe. But anyway, yeah.
So I would be looking at Magnify Your Purpose. That would be a really good oil to help you to open up to, becoming more in aligned with your purpose, and to help rid of procrastination. And I just love this oil. It's one of my go-tos rather than a perfume. It smells very strong, and it's heartwarming, and it definitely makes you feel very rich and worthy.
Yeah. Well, another thing about that day being the 14th is that it is about sitting with the possibilities, releasing any self-limitations that you have. And as we were just saying with the last one, with Mercury now in Gemini, our cognition is functioning so much better, yet we're still able to deal with those feelings of the lack of self-worth. It's a total flip. We have so much self-worth that we're able to easily communicate. So if you do have any of those financial or business ideas, or just conversations around money, then try to, note that one down for the 14th. It's a great day for doing it. So yes. What do we got now? So the next one coming up, we've got the new moon. We've got another new moon in Gemini. So this is a good one. Ideas again, Kay. What have you got for starting new ventures? I suppose there's an aspect of bravery in here as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, always valor if it's to do with bravery, courage, and keeping calm. But Envision oil is wonderful for new projects and for helping you to create the vision of what you want to bring in. So, if you want to do some journaling, or I actually love to draw when I want to map out some ideas or open myself up to movement in the future. So Envision oil would be great for you to, to create the vision. And, when we think about ourselves, so many of us put ourselves down, and, is it that tall poppy syndrome? We don't want to feel too tall and brave and too, what's the feeling as if we're too full of ourselves. However, if we were I always have this vision. Imagine if everybody was living in the full expression of who they truly are, what a wonderful world we would be living in. And that's only going to happen as each and every one of us step into our personal power. And that's what the oils do. They will help you to just, open up gently. They help you to let go of old programs, old patterning, negative thinking, or limited thinking. Most of us just think we are just basically, average people with not a lot to give. However, I would contest that and say we're all very powerful and we all have a lot to give. And why do we hold back? And we've got to look at that. We've got to dig deep and say, what is it that I'm holding back around? And when I'm working with clients, it's amazing because they'll come and have a breakthrough session with me, a one-on-one, where we draw energetically what is going on for them. And I can take people into a place where those answers just come. And it's just such a wonderful thing to see people go, oh my gosh. And once it comes to the surface, they can then let go of it and move on. And I just love witnessing that inner healing from people. It is such a powerful thing. And I have a lot of people who have family trauma, old patterns, family trauma. I've got my little grandson here coming to talk to me about his little saw. Yeah.
All right. So I mean that's an awesome segue into something else that I want to say. That whole storyline. So on the 18th, the same day Saturn goes retrograde. All right. So Saturn is sitting at 7 degrees of Pisces, and he goes retrograde at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the new moon is at 2:30. So we have this shifting of our fundamental needs. Pisces is our subconscious. It is the realm at which all of our stories reside. So, as we grow up, we have experiences, and that gets stored in our vaults, or, you could say the Akashic records or whatever. We have these things. And so when Saturn goes retrograde with this new moon in Gemini, it is so very thought-provoking. And, a lot of our spiritual values come from situations that are in our mind, so we get this day where we're able to plant new seeds, and, it's turned, and we're looking within, where we're seeing things that we previously may have planted that didn't quite grow. We might be able to dust things off, or, put other things in the compost and just let them have their day. So, we can use this as, like I said, it's planting the seeds for new ideas, new thoughts, going back over old things that didn't work, just compost them, they can, have another purpose elsewhere. So,
yeah. And that's the key, isn't it? Letting go of the past and where we've come from, and not dwelling on it overly, learning how to let go. And sometimes that's a challenge. So that's where we grab the oils and purposefully or intentionally let go of whatever's holding us back. So then once we do that, then we can open up the doors of wonderment and possibility. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. So the next day, all right. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this whole thing. I've created I'm doing a 16-week coaching package around Venus and her retrograde cycle. So Venus enters shadow on the 19th of June. All right. So this just means that she reaches 12 degrees and 12 seconds of Leo, where she's going to come back to. All right. She goes all the way to 28 degrees of Leo, and then she retrogrades back to 12. So from the 19th onwards, we are going to revisit places that we're going to come back to issues that we've thought about once. All right. Now, it's interesting, at the same time, Venus and Mars are actually quite close in the sky, but they don't actually get to kiss. All right. They're both in Leo. They're both loving each other up. They're both all shiny and bright, but they don't quite get the kiss happening. The kiss doesn't happen until January of next year. However, Venus is very loud, proud, and fabulous. And hello. And so from the 19th onwards, women, because it is Venus, and men, there are men out there that have strong Venus values and Venus placements. So I'm definitely not saying just ladies, but in this case, ladies are going to go through a whole 4.5-month cycle where they are doing an internal review. They are looking at themselves and asking themselves, what dulls my shine? You know, the ladies are up on stage right now, and that internal review process culminates, like there's a few specific aspects that Venus makes over these 4.5 months. She is talking to Chiron about her wounds and how she can heal them to become a teacher of those issues. She talks to Uranus, where she is going to be doing things differently and being using anything that was a block as a stepping stone to move up a level. She is looking at Hygeia, so the things in her life that are not to the best of her well-being and her mental health. So, you know, and then it culminates with her her talking to the nodes, which is this fated place of, you know, a beautiful trine to the north node and a sextile to the south node. So, you know, the whole journey is so very personal and so very transformative, and it starts on the 19th. So, you know, even though she's in Leo right now, you know, ladies are feeling awesome. Start to really pay attention. And, you know me and the people in my group, I love analog, you know, so get a pen and paper, you know, you do your journaling or your diaries or even just a scrap of paper to get these ideas out of your head so they're not just, you know, floating around there. And, you know, it is a perfect time for us to be working on our issues. So,
and getting things on paper really anchors things, doesn't it? Anchors, it actually is, it is manifesting it in the root chakra level. So you're actually taking some action. And, you know, I always, with my writing, make sure that I stay positive and, you know, bring in things of where I want to be. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're there yet, but we have to start retraining our subconscious so that will come through in our consciousness, what it is that we want to manifest or move to or let go of.
Now, during this whole time as well, there's going to be a lot of hormonal fluctuations. Venus is now in a place of hot and dry. All right. So the Leo rules the heart chakra. All right. We're going to be way more passionate about things. But I don't know about, I mean, I was telling the people the other day, I'm in perimenopause. I've been doing great for the last 12 weeks. Venus moves into Leo and
bingo.
Straight away just came back. So what's your hormone balance oil?
Okay, we have lots of quite a few ranges that we
right now. I can feel the flush.
Right now. So Progessence Plus is the brilliant go-to for women during this part of their cycle, or you know, when the heat is rising and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed in those areas. Progessence is also very calming, and I love putting it on before I go to sleep. It is definitely a very good must in your. I know when I started using Progessence, it just felt like it didn't really matter what was going on around me anymore. It was like I could just write. It was like I had my surfboard, okay, and I had my sail, and I had my anchor, and I had my what is it that steers things, you know, a rudder. So for me, Progessence is gold. I would not like to go without my Progessence. Another one, beautiful one, is Sclerescence. Is another empowering one for women. Or Lady Sclerol is absolutely beautiful. It's got geranium in it and clary sage, a few others. I can't remember exactly what's in that one, but that's one that I will wear when I want to feel, you know, really sort of empowered and rich, and when I want to support all my, you know, the rising and the falling of the hormones throughout the monthly cycle.
Definitely. Well, you know, we're going to need that over the coming months with Venus in Leo, because it's going to be hot.
Well, it's always good to have the heat up, though, isn't it?
Yes. Well, hey, in the winter months, it's not, it's not that bad. All right. So we're speeding through this one. Now on the 22nd, we've got the solstice. Yay! We're at that midpoint of
Yes.
our winter month, where we are happy to be snuggled up in front of a fire under a blanket. Now, it usually takes about a week before the sun actually starts, those hours start getting longer.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, it is definitely a time where the sun, rather than being in Gemini, where it's all fast and thought-provoking and, the messages and energy, we're in Cancer now, where we are quite happy to receive a hug. We are quite happy to deal with our family and protect those that we love. The crab goes side to side with his pinchers, are very protective. We've got that mama bear and don't mess with my family energy for a month. So it's definitely more this solstice, when the sun moves into Cancer. It's about, now the sun is going to be trine Saturn. All right. So this is all about steady accomplishment, and it is going to be in conjunct Pluto at the same time. So this is where that protective mechanism is even stronger. So we're working towards things, but we need to be careful that we're not just snapping unrealistically at people. We still need to, Mercury in Gemini is sextile Mars in Leo. So that Mars in Leo might be very quick to rah. So, on this 22nd, we might have our hearts and minds in the right place, but Mars in Leo might just be too quick to snap. But I mean, you see nature docos, there's always a lion batting a little lion there, putting him into place. So it's one of those days where if you want to seek cooperation rather than dominance, it's a matter of think before you roar.
So yeah, I like that. Being conscious of our thoughts and our actions is so important. And as time goes on, we're here to master all that. We're not here to say, oh well, that's just me. That's the way it rolls. It's really up to us to get a check on what comes out of our mouth. And if we are more effective in our communication, the message is going to land a lot softer or even more assertively, so that whoever you're communicating with may be more open to receive the messages rather than, have them clam up and run away or fight back. You want someone, so communication, so people understand where you're coming from, is so important.
Another thing I wrote about for that day, I mean, this is sort of just in general as well with the whole Leo thing, is when you can go up on stage, what are the strong points that you can think about first? And then think of what could go better afterwards. Louise Hay, I remember back in the day when I first started listening to her, I think I was like 15 or 16, and she was saying that her first talk, she went up and she did it, and rather than beating herself up, she got off stage and she congratulated herself, and then she thought, next time I'll try this, next time I'll try that. Most of us think of us needing to go up on stage and we terrorize and terrify ourselves first before we even get up there. So, this is definitely one of those times where we're like, just keep calm, go do the thing with a let's see how it goes mentality, and then give yourself a gentle review afterwards and then work up to it, because nobody's an expert when they first try something. So
exactly. It took me a couple of years to talk myself into coming online, for example, and putting myself out there amongst people and letting go of the idea that I don't have anything to offer other people, and 2, am I good enough, and 3, what are other people going to think of me? And the more I let go of all that, the more things start to flow. This oil called purification is a beautiful one to put on your throat so that we can speak our mind clearly. And it's so important that we work on that. We've got Jean Ashley's comment, working on self-talk as well. Good on you, because it is so important. Watch your thoughts. Often we default to, as you say, beating ourselves up. However, that situation where you can, instead of beating yourself up, pat yourself on the back, and as Louise Hay said, well, what can I do better next time? And we don't become experts overnight necessarily. It takes time, it takes practice. So everybody needs to be patient with themselves.
And in addition to just the conversation we're having, and going back to Venus, because she is the queen right now, we cannot not bow down before her. I've been listening to a lot of people, and your Venus story, all right, as a woman, and I'm sure there's men here that have been influenced by their mothers or their sisters. This is I'm talking about Venus and the feminine aspects of people. What is your Venus story? Have you got the narrative of your maternal lineage in your mind? Is this something that you wholeheartedly accept, or is it your fallback? All right. So when Mercury moves into Cancer on the 27th of June, we get to look at our thoughts in an ancestral way. And because Venus is in Leo, again, our self-talk, like Jean has said, it often comes from us unconsciously repeating the narrative we've heard as children, both, you know what I mean? And so this is why Venus retrograde is so important, because what are the stories that you tell yourself? What are the things that dull your shine? Venus in Cancer, where is that ancestral connection? And, Pluto in Capricorn, we are transforming our base structures. The universe is just giving us the opportunity with planetary movements to work on these things that are integral parts of us. And if we can just love ourselves for who we are, and with no blame, with no consequence, just, oh, that's interesting, then, we can easily navigate things that are prickly and uncomfortable, because they're just lessons to be learned.
Absolutely. And who wants to be stuck in the old? Who wants to be stuck? If we want change, if we want to move forward, we really need to do this inner work so that we can blossom within ourselves. And, imagine if we all decide, well, yes, I do have a purpose here on the earth, and we embodied the concept that we do have a purpose.
Mercury in Cancer. There we go. We have the family values. Look at this beautiful grandma-grandson combo we get today.
How you going?
Hey, buddy.
Well, family's so important, and it's so it's worth making sure that we do our inner work, because then that is the healing for everyone else in your family as well. That healing the family tree or the family line is very powerful thing to do.
Yeah. So, okay, well, moving on to the next day, all right, because we are looking back at things. So the 28th, we have the moon going into Scorpio, and then it directly conjuncts the South Node, which is the things in our past we need to let go of. The things that, that are in the shadows. Scorpio is our shadow work. The South Node is the release point. So, and with Venus doing her thing, the next day she goes into a trine with Chiron. So, just all of those things together us looking back on our past, at the things we need to let go of, and Venus going, okay, I'm all right with that. Chiron's in Aries, which is all about us healing ourselves to become the best individual that we can be. With Venus in Leo, how do we become a better, brighter, shinier individual? So, you know, yeah. Okay.
I've got a bit of distraction going.
I love it. I love it. All right. So I've pretty much come to the end of June, but I did just want to comment on, the fact that we've started this Venus journey. So like I was saying, she goes into shadow on the 19th. All right. So she's just covering a point that she's going to recover. Now, on the 23rd of July, she goes retrograde. That's when she starts her reverse journey. And obviously, I'm going to talk about this next month. However, I just, I really want to just a heads up, you guys, because it's so important that, you really do pay attention to the things that are coming up in your life. The universe can be very subtle, or it can be very, very blunt if you are ignoring the signs. So, she only goes retrograde for 40 days and 40 nights. So she'll be going direct at the beginning of September, and then she exits that shadow the first week of October. But you know what I mean? Like, we're there now. We're this journey has started. So it's very important to be, using your oils, using your writing, using any tool at all that you have. We are all a very spiritual community here. We all have very vast and different modalities. And, it's time to brush off all of the things that you've already done. We don't have to always seek new. We can go to reliable as well. So
that is a good point, because too often I think we flip from thing to thing. For me, having oils in my life, that's one thing I have not flitted from. But, I have done lots of self-help, and they are courses or development, and they all support me. But I know that the oils are what does it for me, with the backing of all those self-help courses, or all that knowledge, or that understanding. And I like how you brought up the idea that if we ignore the nudges, I like to call them divine nudges. If you are being led to take on something new, if you are being led to evaluate what you're doing, or if you're not happy, take notice of that and start seeking more joy and more balance, more ease, more grace in your life, and reach out. Now, what I want to do is ask you, Bridget, you're talking about your Venus course, something you're developing. Would you like to talk about that a bit more?
Thank you so much. That would be amazing. So, I just thought it was because as a wellness coach as well. So, I've always had astrology obsessed my whole life. That's my main thing. But I've also done the wellness coaching, and I do medical astrology as well. So, so from the shadow to the shadow, it's 16 weeks. And each week, I'm just going to be talking about what is Venus's story for this week. What is she learning? What is she dealing with? Now, we started off, we will look at your own Venus, all right? So everybody's Venus is different. Everybody's story is different. So, depending on where it is in your chart, what area it's covering, this Venus story, by the end of it, you will be able to work through any story you need to rewrite, or any issues that you may have, or if you've got repeating patterns throughout your life that are Venus related, then maybe you can work through them at your own pace, suggestion by suggestion. This is definitely not, I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. There's no homework. It is absolutely a journey within your own mind. It's, I've got 2 levels. I've got I do a weekly live. where you can join in, or it gets delivered to your inbox. They're not going to be, full on, oh my God, I need to set aside an hour to get through this. I just want to inspire people to take hold of their own lives and their own stories and work through them. Like I said, at the end of it, Venus ends up with this beautiful aspect where she's figured out her stuff. She's moved through all of these trials and tribulations that are all about change and healing and saying no and having boundaries. And, so I'm going to be putting the link up to join up that very soon.
And when does it start? That's exciting.
It starts on the 16th of June. So still just under 2 weeks away, but I'm talking about it now. And like I said, it's just, I'd love for people to I've discounted my half-hour readings just to $50 so that I can talk to you about your specific Venus story, just so that you can get a little bit of a insight into what it is you're likely to come up against as she starts her journey. So,
that's interesting and very empowering. So if anyone is interested in that, do reach out to Bridget. And can you tell me again, I'll put in the comments, what's your best website again?
So it's Bridget's Astrology, all one word, .com.au, www. And then also my private group in Facebook is Lifetime, one word, to level up. And you can just come and join that. I have daily astro guidance in the morning where, like on days like today, where we've got some pretty tricky aspects, it can just make you feel more grounded to know that what you're going through is something that the sky is going through. It's not just you. You can move through this. There's a lesson. There's an overall story happening up there. And, not everybody gets hit by everything. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But, I just love sharing my passion and, getting it out there. So.
That's fantastic. So I've put that in the comments. So we've got bridgetsastrology.com.au, and Lifetime to Level Up is Bridget's Facebook group for anyone who would like to join that. And I can tell you, Bridget gives you very good value every day. I tell you 7 days a week now.
6. Sometimes, 6. Saturdays are a little bit, but definitely Monday to Friday. So
yeah. No, that's right. And sometimes, it is a big commitment to come online every day. So 5 days a week sounds perfect. And if you make it for the 6th, even better. So thank you for today's conversation. And thank you for joining us. Anyone who is here, please come and join my group, Kay's Essential Oil Wisdom. If you are not in my group, that's on Facebook. And I have one-on-one sessions as well. So if anyone is interested in having a very one-on-one personal transformational session where we dive deep in a really gentle way, so you don't really have to be too concerned, oh my God, what's going to happen? But people, when they work with me, really find the answers within. And it is such a pleasure to see the release, the joy, and the beautiful connections that people have, a beautiful healing, a lot of family healing. It seems to come through in my sessions, which is very empowering as well. Now, Bridget, you also do one-on-one astrology sessions as well. Yes,
absolutely. I've got a couple of different, if you have a reading with me and I have your chart on file, I also do a catch-up ones, like $20 for 10 minutes, where you just like, what's going on? And they're a good one as well. So you can find me over there, and just I'm all about the evolution.
Yeah, the evolution, that ongoing cycle of life that tests us on many occasions. So the more empowered we are, the better we can manage whatever comes our way. And definitely lots of things have been coming our way over the last few years, and I think in the next few years there'll be lots more things coming our way. That's life. That's the way we roll. So
I just wanted to, hey, like when you were just saying something, it just made me realize Jupiter in Taurus. Taurus is all about the olfactory senses as well. And as you were saying, Jupiter is all about understanding, and the two of them together, you know, oils in particular, and getting that sensory connection, you know, like, oh my God, just amplified. While Jupiter is in Taurus, oils just amplify your understanding during this time more than what they normally do anyway. So I just thought I would add that one in for you.
Absolutely. So oil up, everybody. If you've got some oils, go and grab some oils and just have a little bit of reflection on what's touched your heart today or your mind, and make sure that you reach out, as we say, and come and find us. If you have not got some beautiful Young Living oils, I'm just going to say you're missing out. So make sure that you turn that around. And thank you very much, Bridget, for joining me today. I look forward to connecting with you and our audience in a month's time. Bridget comes on the first Wednesday of every month with me. So if you enjoyed today's show, look out for that. And next week I will be on again with an uplifting conversation, and I'm not exactly sure yet who's coming on next week. So stay tuned. So thank you from my heart to yours. Go forth and do that inner work, because it's certainly worth it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.